Hi there, Serial Trader here. Just want to do a little update here on Bitcoin. And big picture, nothing's changed since my last video. I still have high conviction that we've begun the larger degree wave 3 off this very significant technical pivot we had here down, let's call it around 7,300. So nothing as far as my outlook for that has changed. But what I do want to do is look at the shorter term price action. So from that major technical pivot, we had this nice impulsive move up. There were some question marks as to whether this entire move was just an initial impulse up, or if we were going to have a little 4-5 to finish and then have our correction down here. But no, that in fact was kind of the spike high at the time. And now that we have enough price data to analyze, we have another high confidence pattern to work with here. So let's get into that. So all right, I'm going to label this off that major bottom as an initial wave 1 up. Okay, so a new impulse wave up, 5 waves up. Since then, we've had an A down, and then A, B, C, D, E, triangle wave B, and now we're working what looks like the later stages of wave C down to finish this larger wave 2 to match that larger wave 1. So I've done a few things here. So we have the Fibonacci retracement levels to look at, and we got the 618 retracement, of course, the most common retracement for wave 2. That would get us down to around, let's call it 8,500, give or take, and we're not so far away from that. We've gone as low as 8,600 and change so far, so not a big ask to get down another 100 or so more than that. We also have some relationships for this corrective pattern. So the length of wave A projected off the termination point wave B, which is the wave E here of triangle wave B. The 618 relationship of that gets us down to 8491. So again, right around 8,500. So that's a nice cluster there of relationships. The 618 retracement and the 618 length of wave A projected off of B. And if we are to go a little deeper than that, which I somewhat doubt actually, but if we do, we got the 786 retracement around 8,000. And then of course the AC equality relationship around 7883, so let's call it around 7,900. And a couple more things. We have the reverse Fibonacci extension of the largest portion of the triangle, which is the A wave of the triangle, the 1.382. Pretty much lines up almost exactly with the 618 here. You can barely even see it. It's basically on top of it. So again, right around 8,500. And the 2.0 projection lines up with the equality projection for A and C. So we have a nice cluster basically, just to make it simple. A nice cluster to look for a reaction for short term here off 8,500 or so. And then the next cluster gets you closer down to 8,000 or 7,900. So, I mean, of course, it could reverse here at any moment. But if we just look at the hourly chart and just take a little stab here at a short-term wave count, I mean, maybe we got one more little stab down needed, which would line up well with maybe getting down to that 618 area, so around 8,500. But there's nothing to say we may not already have that low in place. It's certainly possible. But either way, it doesn't make much difference in the big picture. So basically, a second wave of a lesser degree. Again, we just finished that much larger second wave, which is more appropriately viewed on that weekly chart. So a second wave gives you a second chance. A second chance to either get in if you didn't get in, previously, closer to those lows, or a second chance to basically add your position at more attractive levels before we do, in fact, resume higher, or at least project to resume higher here. So the nice thing now as well that we had such a major technical reaction there up that 7,300 area. Nice thing about that is now if you make an entry, you have a very, very hard stop you can define risk against. So, like, bottom line is you absolutely have to get out of the position if we break this low, because this is such an important low. This is a make or break level, critical, a critical stop level to hold. So if you get in now, I mean, your stop would be over $1,000. If we get down a little tighter, you might get it closer to around $1,000. But again, the projected reward going up, might be tens of thousands of dollars in a large degree Bitcoin Wave 3. So a very good risk reward ratio. So at least you have that very clear level to define risk against at this point. And of course, as soon as we get some sort of termination of this pattern and start pivoting upwards convincingly, you can start moving the stop up to a higher level. But for now, I wouldn't define risk, at least I wouldn't hardly define risk with an actual hard stop anywhere except just below that major level down there. But let's say we do get down to our 618 relationship here roughly, have a nice reaction off of it, start trending up as anticipated. Let's say we do that. That would become your new stop to tighten your risk up against, right? Until then, you're just kind of guessing short term here where you're going to get the reaction, and everything has to be defined against that critical low until you got a new low to basically move that up to. Okay, what else to mention here? So I've just drawn a corrective price channel here. Looks like a touchdown to around the median line. If we do it fairly quickly here, would line up quite nicely with this fib cluster as well. So that'd be nice. We are in the oversold condition here on the 4-hour RSI, so that's another nice feature you want to see when you're looking for a major pivot to take place. And what else to point out? That's probably all I have to say for now. Again, nothing's really changed big picture. I already have a full position. It would simply be irresponsible of me to add any more as much as I'd want to. It's already a very large position. So I'm going to let this thing run with my stop currently just below that key level that we put in there on the 23rd of October. And as soon as we get a nice reaction, start trending up again, I will be tightening up the stop to our new higher low. But again, I have to wait for that to establish before I do that. So I would anticipate just basically how this looks. We probably likely get some sort of significant low put in here either over the weekend or probably early next week, I'm anticipating, although Bitcoin has a way of dragging out just a little longer than you think it should. But I think around that time frame is a pretty high probability scenario for getting that pivot, and we should still be able to start moving up in impulsive fashion once again. So definitely exciting time here. We have a large 1 up, 2 down on that weekly chart, and now we have a nice 1 up, 2 down on the shorter term time frame. Very attractive looking chart here for Bitcoin. All right, that's good for now. Now, I'll also probably do an update on CGC, Canopy Growth Corporation, over the weekend here at some point, because it looks like we might finally have something to work with there as far as it coming back to life. I've been waiting a while on that, but definitely see some things I'm liking there now. All right, that's good for now. Serial Trader, signing off.